How am I supposed to learn all this stuff?
Never gonna do it. It's impossible. It's in 2 days. I'm not able to do it.
It's useless! Why am I even supposed to look at that?
I'm just going to go to an island and start breeding penguins.
There's like 35 pages. How the
I'm screwed.
Wake up! It's not yet that time of the year. You went back to school, college, university only a few weeks ago. You're not yet behind. You can still avoid this situation by simply changing your mindset and starting studying right now. But not the way you used to study. No, a smarter way. And this is why today I'm going to teach you how to study less, but more efficiently thanks to science. Because I believe you deserve to live your life at its full potential and also to nail your education. So let's firstly look at one of the simplest yet not so obvious method, which is stick to paper. Nowadays, and given the direction our society is going to, it is easy to believe that digital learning is the key. And in the future, it might be. But as for today, it is much more effective to work on a paper rather than on computer or a tablet. Human short-term memory is extremely volatile and weak. And all the typing and scrolling back and forth is something that is more distracting for you rather than helping you studying. In fact, the smaller the screen will be, the harder it will be to actually learn something on it. With a piece of paper, you can actually look at all the information, even if your eye is only looking at one specific information. Your brain will unconsciously process everything that is written and will create connections that will allow yourself to better study and learn more efficiently. A second method for a better studying experience is to listen to music while studying. Of course, don't listen to any kind of music. Music needs to be as peaceful as possible and without lyrics to make sure that you will not focus on anything else but your studies. Listening to music might not only improve your mood and change your overall outlook of studying, making the experience more interesting and peaceful, but it will also activate parts of your brain that will help you to pay better attention and retain information more efficiently. Okay, now let's go to the proper methods of learning. And the first thing to do, and it's the most critical one, is repetition. The brain is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, it works better with repetition rather than huge overload of work. If you're someone who goes to the gym or practicing any kind of sport, you already know this. It is much better to do shorter trainings, but a lot of them, rather than only one super intense. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. The muscles work the same way. So if you kill them with an intense training, well, they are dead. But if you damage them a little bit, this will make them stronger. The brain works exactly the same. Studying for 10 hours for an exam will not only not help you to really be prepared for this exam, but it will also make you so exhausted that you will be unable to continue studying for the other things you will have to work on. However, doing shorter studying sessions, then having rests of 1 day, 2 days, and then repeating those sessions will allow yourself to better integrate the information and also never be tired, never be exhausted, and so always being able to continue studying for everything you'll have to master. Moreover, our brain works with a forgetting cycle. It takes several times to perfectly remember something. It is much better to do shorter sessions. The first time you will not remember anything, and then the second time you will remember a little bit more things until you will probably remember everything, rather than doing one intense session that will make you believe you know everything. But everything will just be stored in your short-term memory, meaning that only a few days later you will forget all of it. And I know you might say, oh, but I just have this test. No, you don't just have this test. You have several tests, several midterms, and then the final. And all those tests will test you on the same things. By learning with short repetitive sessions, you will be able to learn it one time for the rest of your year. By doing this intense and exhausting session, you will learn it for the first test, forget everything, and have to start over and over. Another method to do with those repetitive sessions is the retrieval practice. The brain works in the way that it needs to search for the information in order to remember them. So a good thing to do in order to study more efficiently is, rather than just reading your pages again and again, is reading them once and then taking a blank page and trying to write down every single information that you can remember about the page you read. Obviously, you will not remember everything. However, everything that you will write down is something that you will remember in the long run. But you might tell me, okay, this is great, but how can I remember the things in order to write them down? Make connections. A lot of research have been done on this subject, and the major difference between the slow learners and, well, the quick learners is their ability to make connections between facts in what they study. This is called contextual learning, but they don't only make connections between point A, B, C until Z, they also make connections that matter to themselves. And making those connections will not only help you to better remember the facts, it will also help you to better understand them. And understanding what you're learning is critical to remember it. And this is exactly what I meant when I told you change your mindset. Start learning in order to learn, not in order to pass a test. Don't see your education as something you will be tested on. No, see it as something that will make you richer, something that will make you grow as a person, make you more interesting in the long run. Make it personal. It is much more interesting to learn something in order to feel better as a person, because you are more knowledgeable, you know many things, and you will always be interesting and never lack a subject of conversation, no matter who you will face in the future, rather than just learning for a test. Also, by changing this mindset, you will actually learn for yourself rather than for your lecturers. And by doing so, you will remember things much more easily and more efficiently. Because when we do something for us, it is always more efficient than when we do it for others. I know, it's a bit of a sad truth saying that we're just egotistical creatures, but hey, after all, we are humans and that's what we are. So at least, let's use this truth in order to grow as individuals and make a better society in the future. Okay, now that all this studying is done, we need to make sure that you actually know it. How to do so? The best way to do it is to try to explain it to someone who knows absolutely nothing about your subject. There is no better test at proving how you master a subject but being able to explain it to a 5-year-old. I know that the process of just simplifying what you learn might sound stupid, but it is an exercise that is actually really hard, and as long as you don't perfectly master your subject, you will be unable to properly do it. We all have someone nearby who would be okay to listen to us, a family member, a friend, so just go, reach out to them and try to explain them what you just learned by simplifying as much as possible and see if they understand everything. If they understood it, then you master it. And it's a much better and more interesting way to test yourself than just doing past exams. Okay, finally, I just want to speak shortly about 4 bonus points. The first one is, when is it better to study? Researchers have found out that it is best to study between 3 to 7 p.m. because at that time you're still active enough to being able to properly understand and process all the information that you will have to do, and at the same time you don't have the rush of the entire day. However, the best time to learn and remember is before going to bed when you're tired. Really make the difference between the two. The first time is the best time to actually understand your lectures. The second one is to remember them. The memory consolidation process does its best work during slow waves of sleep. Also, when you will look at your pages, look at your notes just before going to sleep, your brain will continue processing all the information while you will be asleep. In that, when you will wake up the next morning, you will remember much more information than if you worked during the day. However, when you're asleep, your brain lacks the ability to properly understand and make connections. So you need to have done the studying work before to make sure that everything that you want to remember, well, you already understand it. And now to my last 3 bonus points, which are actually things that you should not do if you want to study smarter. The first one is do not overlearn. There's no point trying to do more. If you start doing more than what you actually wanted to learn, that's when you will start creating confusion. That's when you will start being unable to make connections together, and that's when you will start studying in a less effective way. Then do not multitask. I know that every single one of us at one point said that they were professionals at multitasking. Well, guess what? You're not. And it's not against you, it's against human nature. The way our brain works is that it has a really specific attention. It can only do one thing at a time at 100%. If you're studying and texting at the same time, well, believe me, you will just study your text. And last but not least, do not reward yourself. And yeah, I know, this might sound a little weird, especially because you've probably read absolutely everywhere that you should properly reward yourself. What I meant by that is do not think about your reward. Like, if you want to reward yourself, it's good. But think about the reward and make the reward only when you're done studying. Because if you set the reward, instead of properly studying, you will think about the reward. You will think that, oh, there's something that is waiting for you when you will be done studying. So either you will rush the studies, or being unable to do them properly because you will not think about studying and just think about the reward. So just do not prepare a reward before it's actual reward time. And then, when it's actual reward time, go all in, because you deserve it. You worked hard, and you should be proud of yourself. At least I am, because I believe you deserve to live your life at its full potential. And this is the end of how to study more efficiently thanks to science. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to put a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. If you truly enjoyed this content, please click on the notification bell on the channel page. This will allow yourself to, well, get a notification every single time I upload a video, and this will help me massively. And no matter what happens, I will see you in my next video. Have an amazing, wonderful day. Don't forget to smile and live your life at its full potential.